Hello everyone. So today we'll work on the verbal ability part. We'll work on the parajumble which has appeared in CAT 2020 slot 1. So let's directly move to the set. So before moving to the set, there are a few things which you need to keep in mind whenever you're dealing with the parajumble part. You should be very much comfortable with some of the basic things, the important basic things which you need to keep in mind are the grammars here. So basically the important parts are noun, pronoun, because noun pronoun also works as a connectors. Then the basic connectors which you have to utilize, because parajumble is more related to connecting the statements. So connectors would be the hints. Then the tenses will also play a key role in parajumble part. Or else if it's a narration, you can always identify that if it's a narration, it will move from the past tense towards present tense and then the future tense, or else it's moving from present perfect continuous tense towards the present tense and the other parts here, right? Then the future tense. So this will have the basic connection here. So it's more of connecting the statements with the help of identifying the tenses, identifying the nouns and pronouns. As if I'll go in the statements, the pronoun will come after noun. So let's say one of the statement has a noun available, then only we'll be utilizing the pronouns. So these will work as a connectors, and there will be other kind of connectors like between, or some other words will be there which you have to identify. So these are the important parts which you need to keep in mind. So let's go through the statements here. It's given tensions and sometimes conflict remain an issue in and between the 11 states in Southeast Asia. The states given are Brunei, Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste and Vietnam. Next statement, statement B. China's rise as a regional military power and its claim in the South China Sea have become an increasingly pressing security concern for many Southeast Asian states. Next one, if we'll consider C, since the 1990s, the security environment of Southeast Asia has been both continuity and profound changes. Has seen both continuity and profound changes. And then D, these concerns cause states from outside the region to take an active interest in Southeast Asian security. Now, if I'll go through these statements, I'll try to find out the key factors or the connectors here, right? So I have marked some of the values here, like pressing security concern or security concern here since the 1990s, then continuity and profound changes. So what kind of changes are there which we have to identify? Then these concerns. So what kind of concerns are there? So if we'll identify, if we'll take this thing, these concerns. So let's talk about the connectors here. If we'll see these concerns is nothing but a pronoun here. So if I'm using this, basically this is a pronoun here. So before that I should be using a noun. So let's try to identify what are the concerns here. So if we'll see, we have used the security concern there as a word. That means I have a noun available. So as we have seen, it will be from noun towards pronoun. That means B, statement B and D are definitely the consecutive statements here, right? So here if we'll consider, if I'll mark B, after that D will be there. So they will be continuous here. But since there is no option, I cannot utilize it directly here. I have to find out the opening statements. Now, if we consider B, B cannot be an opening statement because it could be an example of something. Same way, A cannot be a opening statement here because it has the examples available. Now I'll try to identify the tenses. Right, as we know, B and D are the consecutive formats. So other two would be nothing but A C or else A B D C or else C B D A or else C A B D will be the format. So now it's given since the 1990s. So I'm using since the 1990s. It's happening from 1990s. That means we are talking about the present perfect continuous tense here. So that means this could be my opening statement here. I'm starting with, as we have seen, if it's a narration, I'll be starting with the past, then I'll move to the present, and then I'll move to the future, or else I'll start with the present perfect continuous tense, and then I'll move to the simple present tense. Now if we'll consider simple present tense in this case, my value here, simple present tense in this case, is the first one, A, tension and sometimes, because here it's given the security environment of Southeast Asia has seen both continuity and profound changes, right? So what are the changes here? Tensions and sometimes conflict remain an issue in between the 11 states here, right? So according to this, my condition would be C and A will be related, and C would be definitely a opening sentence in this case. So my format should be nothing but C, then A, then B, and D in this case. That represent my statements will be arranged in this format. Since the 1990s, the security environment of Southeast Asia has seen both continuity and profound changes. So what are the changes? Tension and sometimes conflict remains an issue in and between the 11 states in Southeast Asia. That's Brunei, Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. Then China rise as a regional military power, and its claim in the South China Sea have become an increasingly pressing security concern for many Southeast Asian states, right? And they're talking about these concerns cause states from outside the reason to take an active interest in Southeast Asian security. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us.